Good evening. Let us begin this sloka. Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kavibhiriritam kalmashapaham sravanamangalam srimadatam Bhubi grinanti e bhurida janaha. Kalmasha means the sin. What type of sin actually we commit? What we actually do? Whatever we do with the attitude of I consciousness, the ego, that is kalmasha. That is sin. Why sin? Because that binds. And what happens when it binds? We have to come back once again in this life. Don't think that all the time in the human birth, in different birth. So that it goes in this way. To go beyond this, there are so many types of suffering, so many types. And to go beyond that, what is the only way that Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning? We will come to note that. So kalmasha, that sin is slowly going away. How? By listening the advices of this great soul, particularly here, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. How he is removing that? By giving us the teaching, some of the secrets, some of the system that we should follow. If we follow that, we are free from that. So we will follow what Sri Ramakrishna is telling, and we will continue the conversation that Sri Ramakrishna was having with the devotees. We really thank Master Mahashaya, the person who noted all this conversation, and so minutely. Everything he noted. We go to some place, we listen to that, then we forget, or we mix up many other things. But here the Master Mahashaya, he was noting down everything that the person is asking and the Sri Ramakrishna is replying, and afterwards he was again checking it with other people. Sometimes with Sri Ramakrishna himself. So the authority, that is very excellent over here, and we can completely believe what Sri Ramakrishna said, what is there in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna is perfectly correct. Majority of the book we do not know. The Tripitaka, it was written much afterwards than the Lord Buddha. And similarly the others. So here we find the gentleman, the devotee, he is asking, as because Sri Ramakrishna raised the point, ego is the problem, ego is the source of all trouble. So he is asking, how can a man get rid of his ego? Now Sri Ramakrishna is giving the answer. You cannot get rid of it, the ego, until you have realized God. Is the page 451, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. He said, you cannot get rid of ego until you realize God. The only possible way to eradicate ego is God realization, and exactly the other way. If you have the ego, you cannot realize God. And if you realize God, then only ego will go. So we are in the circle. So how to remove the ego? That Sri Ramakrishna will tell. So you cannot get rid of this. And it is so subtle way it comes. Very subtle way. Sometimes some people are very humble. That is the ego. So I am so humble, you see. Nobody can be so humble like me. That is the ego. He is humble, not fighting with anyone, not raising his voice, but at the same time he is very much proud that I am so humble, and people are appreciating this humbleness. That is also him. So how to understand is very, very difficult. And only way what Sri Ramakrishna is telling that you have to, we will come to that. If you find, the gentleman is asking again, if you find a person free from ego, then know for certain that he has seen God. If you find a person free from ego, then know for certain that he has realized God. That's very clearly he is mentioning. When you are free from ego, you have realized God. And that's why he said, Ami mole guchi be janjal. In Bengali he said, that when that ego is removed, all the problem of the life is solved. In Bengali it's called janjal. Janjal means all these trashes. What is the trash? Trash is this ego. What is this I? That is a very peculiar thing. We will discuss that. So unless we realize God, it won't go. And unless we remove it, we won't realize God. So that is a very peculiar situation. Then the gentleman is asking, sir, what are the signs of God vision? How you will know that this person has realized God? What are the signs? Then Sri Ramakrishna is telling him, he is giving many, here I have mentioned, referring Bhagavata. He said, the man who has seen God becomes like a child. Why child? Don't think the child, he can't understand anything, he is moving here and there. Not like that. He mentioned the child because the child is beyond three gunas. These three gunas are Sattva, Raja and Tama. The combination of all these that we see is nothing but the three gunas. Sattva, Raja and Tama. Some people, they are going to meet a holy person. And there's a great crowd. Whole night they are waiting over there. And they are in a queue, they are in a line. Then only they will go and see the holy man. Why? He is also a person. These people who are going, they are also people, human being. Why one human being go to another human being? That we have to understand what is the difference. Sometimes some people, they are very good in music or these and that, then only. But about a religious man, what is there? He cannot sing, he cannot dance, he cannot earn money, he cannot do anything. Even then people are going and giving him so much of respect, maximum respect that the religious person is having. Why? Because he is beyond three gunas, Sattva, Raja and Tama. And how you will know that beyond three gunas? Ramakrishna is telling, because not bound by these qualities. Sattva, Raja and Tama. Now we will come. Does the ego disappear altogether after the realization of God? Really, this Pariprasnena Sevaya, it says, if we are trying to serve a person, a holy man, you have to ask very pertinent questions. Pariprasna. Many other things you can give, but the holy man is always happy when you are asking some spiritual questions. And listening to your question, hearing your question, he will understand how much standard you have come. Pariprasnena Sevaya. You can serve a holy man through questions. So here, does the ego disappear altogether after the realization of God? He is asking. In reply, Sri Ramakrishna is telling, yes, sometimes God totally effaces the ego of His devotees. Now we have to note this particular point. I am striving to eradicate my ego. And then Sri Ramakrishna is telling sometimes God totally effaces the ego of his devotees. That means without the blessings of God it is not possible. And that's why it says when there is no ego you can see God. And unless you see God, there is no chance of going away or free from the ego. So that is possible in the God is blessing. How God's blessings will come, help will come, kripa. This kripa again explained as you have to strive. Kri means action and pa means achieve. And you have to strive, you have to try, you have to do, then only you will achieve and otherwise not. When a baby is playing, Sri Ramakrishna has given this example again and again. When the baby is playing happily, mother will look at the baby and then she goes away to some other place to work and won't take any care of the baby. But when the baby is crying, the mother knows that she wants me now. Otherwise, the mother won't come. In the Bible, we find that Jesus is telling, knock the door, it will be open unto you. If we just go and stand before the door, let God open it, it will never be open. So the strive, we are trying. When we are trying, then only the blessings of God will come. They say, if you go one step towards God, He will come 10 steps towards you. The devotional way they say. Don't mix up with the knowledge. Knowledge is a different approach. But in the devotion, in the bhakti, it says that if you are going one step towards God and say, God, I don't know you, but you know me. I don't know how to call you, how to realize you, how to see you, and what will happen after seeing you. But I'm curious. Please come. By that way also, it says in different scriptures, it is possible. Why? Because He is within the heart. Whatever the thought is coming, you need not to shout. Sometimes some people, they will be using the microphone to call the God. It's not necessary. Disturbing everyone, they will be shouting. But God is not deaf. Why? You need not to pronounce even your thought. That will reach to God. If you are thinking within your heart, because He is within the heart. And that is the reason Sri Ramakrishna is telling that God may efface the ego of the devotee as in the state of samadhi. When the samadhi stage it goes, the tranquility of the mind. What is mind? All thoughts. How the thoughts come? Because of the ego. I should do this, I should not do this, I have to do it. And all that ego-centric, ego-centered things are coming, that is the thought. If there is no ego, there is no thought. And when that is not there, what will happen? Tranquility. And that tranquility is called samadhi. But in many cases, now second sentence he said, but in many cases, he keeps a trace of ego. But that doesn't injure anybody. Swami Vivekananda, he reached to that samadhi. And when he reached to that samadhi, so naturally there was no trace of ego. And he came to his guru, Sri Ramakrishna. Then Sri Ramakrishna, who never knew that he is meditating and is to that point, immediately declared, now you are satisfied, you were so much praying for the samadhi, you have realized that samadhi, that is the experience. But you have to do my work. Now the key is with me. I won't give it to you until you work for me. So he kept the ego in Swami Vivekananda. Why? I have to do. I must do. And he's thinking for the betterment of the all people, not for himself, not for name and fame. I have to go to America. I have to make the Indian people aware about the treasure that they are having and to give them back their self-confidence. All these thoughts started rising within Swami Vivekananda. And he came over here and he said, I, the Son of God. This I is not the small I, it's a big I. And so nice way he said, people will think that he's a proud. I have a message to the West, as Buddha had a message to the East. Can you imagine the way a 32 years young man is telling like that? I have a message to the West, as the Buddha had a message to the East. What is that message? Mukti, liberation. Buddha gave it to the East, and I will give it to the West. So that, is it ego? Of course. But how that ego? It never binds. Why? Because God has kept it. And that person, when he went to Amarnath, when he saw the Shiva, immediately realized his own nature. He understood that Shivoham, and from then, that day onwards, he became so humble. Not me, not me, not me. So that's why Sri Ramakrishna is telling, he keeps a trace of ego. Lord Jesus is telling, leave everything and follow me. That me is not the ego. It is this, the holiness that is manifesting through him. So when we understand this, we can understand a child, he is going and holding, this is my mother, this is my mother, this is my thing, this is this. He won't leave. And very actively he is doing. So the Tama and Raja, these two qualities are so prominent in him. And next moment when he leaves everything and goes away. Yesterday one little, I think 1 year old, that boy came and I wanted to take this thing and that thing, he won't give. Then he left his shoe, and after that he never wore that shoe, he went away. His mother came to search for the shoe. And for the shoe he was so much, no, this is my shoe, I won't give. But afterward, immediately he left. I was remembering this Thakur's. No attachment at all. This is mine, and then immediately he leaves. So Satta, Raja and Tama, these three, beyond three gunas. And he is telling like this, a 5-year-old child, no doubt say I, but that ego doesn't harm anybody. And similarly, these religious people, when they say I, it is not harming anybody. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam bhaja. In the Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, mam, I. Do you think that Krishna was egoistic person? Not at all. No attachment. That is what Sri Ramakrishna is telling. So friends, we will come to the discussion, but in between, Sri Ramakrishna is talking with Pratap Chandra Hazra. Many of you who knows the history, in the Pratap Chandra Majumdar, not Hazra, Pratap Chandra Majumdar, he was a very learned person, very highly educated person. And he was the representative of the Brahma Samaj over here. In the same meeting where Vivekananda also spoke, he came in the 1893 Parliament of Religion. But before that, he went to London and all that. So Sri Ramakrishna is talking with him. He came to visit Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna to Pratap. You have been to England. Tell us what you saw there. Now the Pratap is telling, the English people worship what you call gold. That means the money and all that, what you call gold. Of course, there are also some good people in England, those who lead an unattached life. But generally, one finds there a great display of rajas in everything. I saw the same thing in America. Now you see, he has visited England and America, and Sri Ramakrishna, the maximum, he only went to Kashi, Vrindavan, that's all. But the moment Pratap said like that, Pratap Chandra Majumdar, Sri Ramakrishna said, it is not in England alone that one sees attachment to worldly things. This is called wiseness. It's not that I have to go and I have to read and then only the knowledge will come. It is already, the conception is very clear, because attachment to everything. Some people are attached to very costly Mercedes car, and some people are very much attached to a very small little bag that he is holding. Attachment. It's not these and that. Attachment is the same. Sri Ramakrishna is telling, it is not England alone that one sees attachment to worldly things. You see it everywhere. But remember that work is only the first step in spiritual life. So those who are interested in spiritual life, work is the first step. Everybody is working. That means everybody is going towards the spirituality, developing spirituality. No. God cannot be realized without sattva, love, discrimination, kindness, and so on. These are the good qualities of the sattva. It is very nature of rajas to involve a man in many worldly activities. That is why rajas degenerates into tamas. If a man is entangled in too many activities, he surely forgets God. But it is not possible for you to give up work altogether. Your very nature will lead you to it, whether you like it or not. Therefore, the scripture asks you to work in a detached spirit. That is to say, not to crave the work's result. For example, you may perform devotion and worship and practice austerities, but your aim is not to earn people recognition or to increase your merit. To work in such a spirit of detachment is known as karma yoga. So in one line he is explaining about the karma yoga. And you know, nearly few thousand years before, Sri Krishna, another incarnation of God, he too gave the same message. And that was in a special, that book that we read, every Hindu, they keep that one copy of the book is there in every Hindu family. It is Bhagavad Gita. And there in the third chapter, you know, the first chapter, Arjuna's despondency, he is confused. So he is asking question, what should I do? In second, that is, Bhagavan is giving that complete idea about the self and the body, two different things. So don't think that when you are killing somebody like that. In the third he said, to develop that knowledge, you have to work. The third chapter, complete third chapter is dedicated to karma yoga. And here Sri Ramakrishna is telling that you have to understand that karma yoga. Otherwise, you won't be able to realize God. And we find this way in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 5th sloka, 3rd chapter, as Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning, same way the Krishna also said, Nahi kaschit shanamapi jatu tishtat akarma krit. Kaschit shanamapi. Even for a moment one cannot remain idle without any work. Not the physical work, mental work. You will see that some people, the moment you are talking, it is okay. The moment they are not, immediately they will plug in the ear and listening. Nowadays it has become so much. They'll be going on listening or talking. So I am busy. If there is no business, he is driving, but still he feels no, there is not that activity. He is driving. But even then he will be texting and listening and all these things will go on. Why? Because of the nature of the mind. No one can ever remain for a moment without performing any action. Why? Because nature compels everyone to act. Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha. The nature is provoking you, compelling you, forcing you to work. The basic of creation is nature. Now let us discuss this point a little. What is this nature? In Sanskrit we call it Prakriti. What is that? Prakriti is Maya. In different names they say Maya or Prakriti. And what is that? Is the power of God. Why that power of God is binding us? Because God wanted to create this universe. And in the universe, if everybody is knowing that I am God, then there is no good place. So He Himself created this. How? Separating His power and giving as if the authority to that power to create, and so that He can enjoy. God, except God there is nothing. He is creating this universe. How He is creating? Separating His power. And what is that power? It has been termed as Maya Shakti, M-A-Y-A. That Maya Shakti is also known as Prakriti. And this Prakriti or the Maya Shakti, what is their special? 3 different qualities: Sattva, Raja and Tama. And this Sattva, Raja and Tama is calmness, active and dullness. The Sattva is calmness. Tama is dullness. Both are almost similar. And someone is simply quietly, with closing his eyes, sitting. Oh, what a wonderful person meditating. No, he is sleeping. So the Tama and the Sattva almost like same. Sattvik person never bother about keeping the things in a proper way or maintaining his body, because he's constantly thinking of God and shaving and all these things. He never cares. And Tamasic also the same way, dirty and will never do anything. And if you make a mistake, oh, he is also such a nice Sattvik, then that is the mistake you are doing. So Sattva and Tama almost like the same apparently. But main difference, Tamasic is very much attached to everything, and Svattik completely detached with everything. These are the two. And we can say, in the deep darkness we cannot see anything, and in the tremendous light we cannot see anything. So both are almost like same, but it is light and it is darkness. So Sattva and Tama, these are the two qualities of God. In between He has given a Mishra, active, a Mishra. To some extent He is Sattvik, and to some extent Rajasic, Tamasic. These two mixture, not 50-50, sometimes it goes up and down. That is the Raja. Maximum that we see ourselves Raja Guna. Raja means that's good, that we are in the second stage. And from Raja we have to go to Sattva. So once again, the Prakriti, from where the creation has come, is the power of God. This Prakriti is having 3 qualities, Sattva, Raja and Tama. When these 3 qualities are equilibrium, no action takes place. That is called completely that without creation, pralaya. So when it is not creating anything, how it is possible? Because these 3 gunas are not active at all. And when the Lord makes them active, what happens? Sometimes the tama, sometimes the raja. Have you noticed in the whole world now the tama is going up? Everywhere. All people are showing the egoistic way. I am going to fight, I am going to do this, I am going to do that. God forbid. Because these people, they are not ordinary people, they are the head of the states. And because of their ego conflict comes, then the millions and millions of people will suffer. Because of that, again, everything will become, all people will be docile and simple. No, we are friends, we should not fight. Again, different type of organization will develop, like the UNESCO and all that. We should sit together and discuss. Again, it will come. Why this? We had enough in the First World War. People didn't learn. Then the Second World War, devastation was too much. Then we learned. And then again we are preparing for the third one. Everybody is flexing their muscles and telling, well, we'll see. Do you think we can also see? What you can do? You can just only destroy. And do you think when you are destroying others, you will be safe? No. So this way, why it is Raja? Tremendous activities. Why Raja? Ego. And that is why in our country, all these people, particularly the whole life of Sri Krishna was dedicated to train the kings. He never wanted to train any other. Because the kings, those who are leading the whole society, they should be swatik. Then only all other people can live happily. So he said, the sattva, raja and tama. Sattva is the sukha. There you find the happiness in the morning when you meditate and there is nothing, all quiet everywhere. And for 1 hour, in the beginning there is a little struggle and then in the end, but in middle, at least 10-15 minutes when the mind is completely calm, when you get up, you are fresh. That's sukha. That is happiness. And that happiness comes from sattva. Because you are not getting anything from anyone. You are not listening anything. You are not doing anything. The calm mind gives you so much of happiness. Where from it comes? From the source. What is that source? It is God. And then we can say completely in a scientific way that God is the source of happiness. So that is Anandeva Kalu Imani Bhutani Jayante. From the source is the Ananda, the joy, the happiness. And where from it comes? Within us, when our mind is tranquil. So these three, calmness, activity and dullness. What it gives? Sukha, dukkha and misra. Sukha and dukkha, it combines in the Raja. Sometimes some people will clap. One of our devotees recorded my voice, the song. I am not a singer at all. Just before God we sing. And then another devotee took that song. I sang just all alone without any music. And then the devotee took it, and nowadays things have developed so much. They have given the tabla and many other instruments into that song. You will never imagine that I sang in a totally separate, in a different place, and these people are sitting far away in India, and that they have given the music, and that was given to some devotee. Now they are spreading it. Every day I am receiving so many. Swamiji, you are a good singer, good singer. And when I am reading that much, I am also slowly getting convinced I am a good singer. though I am not. So that way, if you go on telling, the people will be like that it goes. So where from that sukha came? Because people appreciate it. And suppose after hearing that music, the people say, oh, please don't try the song, you try something else. Then what will happen? I will be, oh, he doesn't know what is song. I will be very angry. So, Everything depends on our mind. So what should be our goal to go beyond these three? What will happen? You are not at all acting with the activity of other people. You are not reacting, I should say, with the reaction of the people. When you are free from that reaction, what happens? Your mind is constantly tranquil. If somebody is praising, we are happy. If somebody is not praising, we are angry. That means what? We are actually depending on others. Be your own master. I want to be happy now, I am happy. Like that, you have to control your mind. How it is possible? Dukkha, that is misery, suffering. So one should strive to go to Raja, Mishra. Okay, little suffering and also happiness, it goes. Majority of the people, they go to that. In the samsara, in the family life, the mother suffered a lot. Maybe the husband was not very good and the life was very, very difficult. Even then, when her son grew up, she'll be so eagerly trying to get him married. Again, once again. Again that problem will come. Again it will go. But we cannot go beyond this because we see this is the whole samsara. That being a monk, we mix with so many different type of people. One young boy used to come and tell me, Swamiji, I don't like to marry. I know I am the only son of my mother and she is having no one. If I marry any lady, if she comes, there will be third one. If the mother and the wife is not going together, then what will happen to me? I cannot leave my wife, I cannot leave my mother, so I have decided not to marry to serve my mother. And mother came and cried, oh, this boy accept you as his guru, whatever he will say, he will do, please ask him to marry. I could say, I am a monk, I cannot say that you go and marry, because I don't believe in that. But anyway, one thing I like to ask you, suppose his wife is not listening to you, she wants to go in her own way, and the son and the wife will go and start living some other place, will you be happy? Oh, yes, good. But after the marriage, she herself found a lady, married, and within a month or so, letters started coming to me. Swamiji, my mother is crying and doing this and that, what should I do? I told, I don't know. So now he had to adjust. And this is called our life. We create our own problem. Not that we should not marry, but we have to understand. We should not start the family. We should understand anything may happen. And whatever happens, I am going to be happy. Okay, my son, if he is married, if the wife comes, not accepting me, doesn't matter. That should have been the attitude of the mother, then the whole family would be very happy. So like this, so many practical problem comes in our life, and we are in a mixed way, Raja. Friends, we have to go beyond that. We have to cross the Raja and go to happiness, Sattva. And how to reach over there? Now comes the instruction. You must have to do that through work. Only through work it is possible. It is not possible for you to give up the work altogether. Prakriti kriyamanani. Because the nature will force you to do. And what is the Prakriti? Power of God. And who am I? Only the manifestation of that nature. I cannot go beyond that. What I will do? So this way we have to understand. Now a policy we have to adopt. And what is that? Karma Yoga. The God is there, He has given us all these, and the God came in the form of Sri Krishna thousands and thousands of years before, and He said Karma Yoga. And what is that Karma Yoga? Do all action, but don't wait for the result without attachment. Karmanne vadhikarasti ma phaleshu kadachana. In Sanskrit, in the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna is telling, I don't know whether he spoke in Sanskrit or not, but it is written in Sanskrit. Karmanne vadhikaraste. Only you have the right to perform work. Ma phaleshu kadachana. But you know, the Sanskrit was the common language in those days. That was the only language. Afterwards, different type of languages came, but the only language was Sanskrit. There is no doubt that he spoke in Sanskrit. I was just joking. So this way only that he is telling you have the right to work. Why? Because nature will force you to work. But if you don't wait for the result, if you don't hanker for the result, then what will happen? Karma won't be able to bind you. The action has a very peculiar, very subtle way it will bind you. And you won't see the rope, how it is binding you. But the rope is very, very strong. So only thing is possible to follow the words, the advices of the great soul like Krishna and Ramakrishna. And Swami Vivekananda, that is the reason he said, each soul is potentially divine. That is Vedanta. Each soul is potentially divine. He is not ever telling that is only Hindus, not telling only the human being, each soul. Whoever, wherever, in whatever form, potentially divine. It is not completely manifested, but the potentiality is there. It can manifest. Like a seed, but the tree is there present in the seed. But when you see the tree and the seed, what is the difference? Manifested and potential, that's all. So the potentially divinity, when I see the God, when I see the Lord Jesus, when I see the Lord Buddha, we go and bow down and do what? Because they are manifested. And who am I? Potential. It's like the student and the teacher. The students usually in our time also used to go and bow down to our teachers. Whenever the teacher is entering into the classroom, we used to get up, namaste, like that we used to do, greeting him. And any special occasion we used to go and touch his feet. Why? We are also teachers. But potentially. So that potentiality slowly manifested with the help of the teacher. So the guru is so much respected, highly respected. So here he says, each soul is potentially divine. Then he says the goal of the human being, not about the others, only about the human being. The goal is to manifest the divinity within. The divinity within, it is there already. How? The third step he says, by controlling nature, external and internal. The external nature and internal nature. What is the internal nature? Desire. What is the external nature? Sukha dukkha, happiness and misery. So the external nature, happiness and misery, and internal nature, desire. If there is no desire, there is no happiness or any misery. And someone told Swamiji, I will bring you some good tasty food. And I am waiting, expecting that tasty food will come. Now they brought it tasty for them, not for me. So I took one spoon over and this good taste, but I cannot eat. So that way, what happened? You were expecting a good food will come, and then you were waiting. It did came, but you could not enjoy. As because you were expecting, you are suffering. You know, no, it's no problem. Bring it. If you don't bring, that's also okay. If you don't mind, I have seen these great qualities in our Bharatanandaji, with the American Swamiji. have seen that. Whatever you give, Swamiji, today this good food has, oh good, then he is happy. If there is nothing, he will take 2 bread and then he will put this and that, he is happy. All the time, anything that you ask, he is happy. That's a great sign of spirituality. It's not so easy. Particularly this tongue, this taste, it makes a human being mad. But for him, everything is okay, no problem. If nothing is there, only potato chips, that's also, he is happy. There's no problem for him. Only thing that he likes, that is a black coffee. From early morning to night, he will be going on drinking the black coffee, not only 2-3 sips and then keep it. Again he will go, sometimes I throw it because they go for fresh one, why this one? But he likes it. But anyway, that is only one thing. Slowly it develops. Detachment. And by controlling nature, what is that nature? Prakriti. What is the Prakriti? Power of God. And who is controlling it? Me. Who am I? God myself. So that is the secret of Karma Yoga. I am not begging anything. I am the Lord and I am controlling my own nature. And I was playing with the nature. And now I was bound in the nature. Now I have understood. I am going back. You may remember the beautiful story that Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna told. That those who have read the Sri Ramakrishna's book, the parables of Sri Ramakrishna, please go through that book. Beautiful. So many beautiful stories. Children, they read. And that gives the highest teaching. The lioness came to hunt for the food in a herd of the sheep and all. And then gave the birth of that baby lion and died. And the lion grew up into that, among that herd. And he started learning. That little, the lion, he started eating the grasses, following the others, and then bleating, following the others, and behaving just like a sheep. Another lion, when this lion grew up, another lion came. He wanted to have his food from that herd, but then the lion saw, oh my God, another lion is there and he is behaving very peculiarly. So he went and told him, hey, why you are doing like this? No, I am a sheep, I am afraid, please leave me. Why you are eating the grasses? I am a sheep. Why you are bleating? I am a sheep. Then he took him, come with me. Then he showed him his own face in a clean water and look at your face. We are sane. We are the king of this whole jungle. We are the tigers. We are the lions. Why you are behaving like this? Roar like me. Don't bleat. Roar like me. And that is Guru. Guru takes and says, why you are crying? Why you are behaving like this? You are the God. Prakriti, the nature, the Sattva, Raja, Tama, your own qualities. Just say, hey, now I am going beyond the Sattva, Raja, Tama. No action. They will listen to you. They should listen to you. When you sit for meditation, don't beg, just command your mind. Now, mind, no activity. That is the way Vedantic meditation, commanding the mind, because mind is my servant. I am not the servant of the mind. And Sri Ramakrishna said, how it is possible? Through action. What is that action? Karma Yoga. What is that Karma Yoga? I will do the work through devotion, but with detachment. When I am doing the work, performing the work, I am 100% concentrated and doing everything as minutely as possible, as perfectly as possible. Friends, you know that one Swami is coming to give the retreat this time. He is a very famous speaker. And every time we send out every people, please come to retreat, please come to retreat. Now this time also we are sending out the letter to everyone, please don't come, because we have with full capacity. We cannot accept anyone. And they are all ready to give that money and all. No, thank you. Come in the next. So this is the way. And now, last few days, Bharadanaji, myself and other devotees, we are all working so much. You know, the human being, they gave the money in the month of May or before that. Now they are cancelling and asking to send back the return, and so many things are going on. Same name, total confusion. And registered with the wife. Now the wife is not coming, and he never informed that. Indian people, wife is not going this. Why I should inform you? And we are in great trouble. And today only whole day we had to work and to make, because over there should not be any confusion. And our capacity is very limited. Many people they are coming, I know they will be, again will come, oh this is not there, that is not there, because hardly we can accommodate 93 people, but we get only maximum 80, 85. We can control that. Now it is 170. So this perfection, I am again and again giving pressure on our volunteers. Now you have to do this, you must do in this way. Why? Because I know that this is our work, and those who are coming to attend the retreat, they are great people. They are coming, paying and driving for a long way, and only to listen to a philosophy. Our guests, not ordinary people. So we should serve them in such a way that each and every one should be happy. And that is karma yoga. They are coming for jnana yoga. But we are there performing karma yoga. What is that karma yoga? Making all these things and then telling God, we tried our best, but still some people were not happy, we are sorry. We cannot do anything. So that is called karma yoga. Why we should control our prakriti, our mind, making the mind still. Then why the mind is disturbed? Because of the ego, I and mine. How to eradicate ego? Now, through work, but with detachment. Work with devotion, but with detachment, you will reach the goal. The God realization is nothing but controlling your ego, no? Isn't it? The Sri Ramakrishna is telling, in conclusion we can say, we can realize God if we don't have the ego. And ego can be completely erased when I realize God. Now this is how to solve this. Now the only way to work incessantly without hankering for the result, complete detachment. Whatever we do, we must be devoted to the work, 100% devotion, but completely detached way. When we do that, then we get the realization of God. When we get the realization of God, then there is no ego. When there is no ego, what remains? God's quality. What's the God's quality? Joy, happiness, same-sightedness, all-powerful, everything Sri Ramakrishna was having. He showed everything in his life. That's why Sri Ramakrishna is considered as the best personality in the modern age. He's not in the book, but displayed in his life. And he displayed in his life that he married, he was having a wife, he was maintaining a family, but at the same time completely detached. He was having so many disciples, but completely detached. He was going to each and every place, mixing with people in the society, but completely detached. He was inspiring hundreds of people to follow the path of religion, but at the same time, completely detached. He showed in his own life that karma yoga, and then after that, what do you find? You become like a child without sattva, raja, tama. We have to go beyond these three. Thank you, friends. Thank you for coming this evening. In our next week, we will again study this Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Now let us conclude this wonderful verse. Niranjanam nityam anantarupam bhaktanukampa dhrita vigraham vai Ishavattaram Parameshamityam Tam Ramakrishnam Shirasa Namamaha. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. After reading this book and after the discussion, whatever the merit that we have got, we must have got some merit. That also we are offering at His feet. We don't want this too, we want you. So that's why Arpanamastu. So whatever we have done, we don't want that. Oh God, we want you. And if we get God, what will happen? We will get God. After realization, only we can say what will happen when we get God or realize God. Let every one of us realize God in this life. Let that be the prayer and effort. Thank you.